Okay, now we're into our final portion of the competitive program here, and we're going to see the candidates in the formal attire presentation. They were given this question this year to write an answer to, which I'll be reading in just a few moments. This question is, this being the 35th annual Philippine Weekend, what is your most memorable event of Philippine Weekend? So as they compete on stage for the last on-stage portion of this competition, the formal presentation, we will hear their responses to that question. Okay. For the formal portion now, Mr. Candidate number 1. I think we're ready here, are we? Chrismat Manuel Mateo writes, he loves sharing his talent for the world to see, which is why his most memorable Philippine Weekend experience is winning 3rd place in the annual singing competition. Placing 3rd in the contest triggered him to share his voice with the world through YouTube as Mateo321, and up to this day he updates his subscribers with new videos every moment he gets. Through the singing contest, Chrismat had lots of new friends that he met, which made this experience very memorable to him. So tonight he'd like to extend his deepest gratitude to his friends and his family for pushing him to pursue his singing dreams. And after tonight, he knows that his Mr. and Miss experience will be in the most memorable folder in his heart. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Candidate number 1, Chrismat Manuel Mateo. Mr. Candidate number 2, Johnson Del Rosario. To Johnson, the most memorable event happened recently at the 34th Philippine Weekend Festival. Johnson loves spending time with his friends, and they try to make this time they spend together as memorable as it can be. Johnson and a couple of his friends were having a slow day after the cultural dances they performed, so they decided to roam around the park on the kiddie train ride. It's funny because the train they rode in was designed for the tiny tots, pretty much, not for high school teenagers. As the train took them around the park, everybody was staring at them, at Johnson and his friends, as if they were crazy. Johnson is always trying to bring back memories of his childhood, and riding that train actually made him feel a little like a kid again. That is why such a simple event will be a memory that will be forever in his heart. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Candidate number 2, Johnson Del Rosario. Mr. Candidate number 3, Brian Paul Igarda. When he was younger, Brian was part of Philippine Weekend as one of the children who learned and performed cultural dances for entertainment. His experience as a young dancer is part of the reason why his favorite memory was the cultural dances of the 34th annual Philippine Weekend. As one of the people in charge, and it being last year as a dance leader, Brian was hit with a pleasant feeling of nostalgia and felt that he had come full circle in his experience with the young dancers. He says it felt good to have the opportunity to give back and teach culture and tradition to the younger generations. And so he hopes that some of those kids will follow the very same path that he and several other former youth dancers have taken and one day become dance leaders themselves, continuing to pass on the cultural knowledge to future generations. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Candidate number 3, Brian Paul Igarda.